Hello and welcome to Find Your Freedom, a podcast dedicated to helping you truly find freedom in all aspects of life. Join your hosts and their expert guests as they share practical tips and strategies for finding more freedom in your life. It's time to take control of your life and create the future you want. Let's find your freedom. Here are your hosts, Lenny the Boss and Omid Rad Investor.
Boom, 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 boom. We are back with another episode of Find Your Freedom. And before we jump into this guest, this is a good friend of mine. We got some funny stories on how we interact, how we met each other, right? We have a freedom kit for you so you can sit here and find your freedom, help you with the dots, connecting the dots and get you there. So it's easily downloadable. All you have to do is go to www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. Once again, www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. All right. So this next guest or friend, I like to call him, he's a good one, man. And I'm gonna tell you a quick story on how we met one another. One, it was a house that both of us bidded on, unbeknownst to each other. I won, I have to say, and he just so happened had another house across the street, and he has some workers over there, and how nice of a guy he is. I'm talking to him. He kind of showing me some of the things that, he's doing to his house. And I'm like, hey, dude, can I get your crew? He was like, yeah, right after they finished done with my house. So that's how cool he is, man. And we're gonna unpack a lot of things just about Dave. And so with that being said, I don't want to wait any longer. Dave, what's up, my brother? How you feeling?
Lenny, what's going on? What's good?
Hey,
Everything's good on this end.
awesome. So, Dave, before we jump into some of your fantasticness, just give the listeners just a little bit of background on yourself.
Okay, my name's Dave. I started with my first rental property back in 2007. Uh, Bought a second one in 2008. Started up a property management company in 2017. Um, I had never done contracting prior to 2007, but then started with the rental properties doing my own work because it was too expensive paying all these contractors, and some of them were doing shoddy work. So I figured take it on myself, and now I got a good thing, a real good thing going. I got my rental properties. I got people that are calling me up to do work for them, um, and I'm just looking to see what's next on the horizon. Got lots of plans, lots of plans.
Awesome. I love it. Before we jump into the property management thing, because I want to make sure that we cover that and see how we got there. Man, I know you, Dave. So I know your first property you purchased was an interesting experience, and so if you don't mind, sharing that story with the first property you purchased and the mindset behind it of continuing to go on.
Okay, so in 2007, my wife and I were told by our accountant that we were making too much money, but we could not afford to buy a house for ourselves at that point. So we decided to get a rental. Rental came with tenants already occupying the unit. Um, I can tell you that if there are tenants in the unit, find out how long they've been there and check to see if you want them to stay or you want the sale to be contingent on them finding someplace else to live. Um, it only took a couple of months until they started acting up, but I weathered the storm. Finally, I think they stayed there probably about a year and a half to 2 years. And then once they left, I was extremely happy.
I just bet. I mean, like you buy this property, Not because you was like, hey, let's go out and build this big time portfolio. You buy the property because your accountant is telling you need like some things to write off, right? So you're there, you get a tenant that's a pain in the butt. I'm gonna use the nice word, a pain in the butt, right? And what made you want to a year later want to buy another property when you're just buying only to sit here and write some stuff off and you got this pain in the butt tenant?
Well, Lenny, let me tell you this. When I sat down for to speak to the accountant to do my taxes for 2007, and then the accountant says, "Oh boy, Dave, you're still making too much money, even with this property you just bought." I had to buy a second property.
Mm,
Luckily, for me, the property was vacant, but as we talk about shoddy contracting work, the people did just enough work to make the facade of the house look like everything was good.
mm.
Um, Always get a home inspection. Even though I got a home inspection, I decided, oh, let me remodel. Um, as I said before 2007, I mean, I would tinker around, but I didn't know what I was doing. And even I'd say until 2010, I couldn't say I was really comfortable with the different things. So uh, Dave decided in 2008 when he bought this house that he was going to put on his plumber's hat.
Oh, this story's
Um,
going to get good.
yeah, yeah. When Dave put on his plumber's hat, Dave thought, oh, plumbing can't be that hard. It's just, screw one thing on, screw another piece off. So when we decided to do the upstairs bathroom, one of the connections was dripping. Did not realize that's what you call a compression fitting. And
Mm,
when it was installed, there was no compression done. So as I'm spinning it, thinking that it's a male uh, it's a male piece, the pressure from the water being on, because of course Dave didn't go and shut the water off. Actually, Dave didn't even know where the shutoff was for the water in the house. So as I'm spinning this compression fitting that was not compressed, it pops off, shoots water all over me. I'm trying to now, bathroom water pressure is high. So I'm trying to stick this fitting back on, trying to just jam it on. Finally, I'm like, with one hand, I'm calling my dad. With the other hand, I'm trying to get the compression fitting on. My father's like, oh, I don't know anything about those houses in that area, so I don't know where your shutoff is. He's like, let me walk across the street to ask the neighbor. I'm like, Dad, don't walk, run. And then he's like, are you okay? So I was so stressed that I said, no, my property is flooding out. And I tossed the phone across the room. Don't ask me why I would toss the phone across the room when he's going across the street to find out where the shutoff is for these style houses.
mm.
So finally, my wife grabs the phone and my father finds out where the shutoff is. I jam it on. There's still water back spraying into the wall. Run
Mhm.
downstairs, open up the closet. Um, when the home inspection was done, the home inspector never said to me that the shutoff valve handle had been broken.
Oh,
So now I've got to run around and find a crescent wrench so that I can shut this this shutoff off. So lo- long story short, I had to do quite a bit of drywall work because it started draining into the kitchen. So,
wow.
yes, um, but I got lucky. I got real lucky.
Hmm.
So that was
Hold on.
That was
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. So let me get this right. All right. So you buy your first property. Hold on. Let me get this right. So you're getting your taxes done because you're a good citizen, right? You want to sit there and pay your taxes, and your accountant say, "Hey, you need some help with your taxes. Go buy a property." So the first property you buy comes with a headache tenant, right? They want to pay sometimes, they don't want to pay sometimes, and I'm
right.
pretty sure a host of other things, right? So then you go back to your accountant the next year, your accountant saying, you need more write-offs, buy more property. And you buy another piece of property, right? Before you could put a tenant in there, you flood the place out.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
So wait, now hold on, let's unpack this. You flood the place out. Like at this point in time, you got to be thinking real estate is not my thing. I mean, like what were you
No,
thinking at the
I'd have to say that at that time I was thinking, damn, I got some bad luck right now.
Oh wow.
The sun has gotta shine on another day. It might be cloudy today, but I know that God has better plans for me than this.
Right.
So I, so I was like, nah, keep going. Got to keep going.
Keep it now, like from a mindset perspective, like any other Joe, would have said, I'm done. I tried the tenant thing's a headache, buy another property, and I flood the whole place before I can even make some money on the property. I'm done. Like, like, what do you do? Like, how do you have this positive disposition about yourself, and why do you believe that better days are to come?
Because my thoughts on it were, okay, I've got a bad tenant, but at least they pay for the majority of the time. It might be late, might be 20 days late, but they're
Mhm.
paying. Um, with the flooding of the house, I'm like, well, you know what? Everything's a write off. So the accountant said I'm making too much money, so I'll just write off the damage.
So it's just checking the boxes for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, I couldn't I couldn't turn back.
So all right, let's continue walking down this lane. All right, so you're two properties in. So we're roughly where we at. We're 2008.
Yes, 2008.
Okay, so 2008 is when the real estate market started to take a dump, right?
Right.
So obviously you're starting to get into this, you're starting to pick up a skill now, right? Because you said that you were not, skillful in this department, at all, and kind of starting to learn. So 2008, let's go back at 2008. Like where were you at with buying properties at that time, knowing that the market is tanking?
We at when we bought the second house in 2008, we still didn't have a house of our own. So we were still renting an apartment someplace.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
so we decided that um, we were going to hold off because, my kids were, let's see, in 2008, my twins were 4 and my oldest was 6.
Hmm.
So we started looking in the beginning of 2009 because where we were living, we knew that we didn't want the kids to go to school in that area. So, and we wanted to find our forever home or just a home where we would live for a nice period of time. So in 2009, we were able to find I guess it will be our forever home. I mean, all the money that my wife has had us dump into it to
we
make it ours.
We gonna edit that part out because I don't want to get you kicked out the house, dude. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
So 2009, we were able to find a house in central New Jersey. The people had done no updating at all. Um, as a matter of fact, I mean, it was better than where we were living. So, and it was a house as opposed to a 2-bedroom apartment. We now had a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. So, excuse me. We were able to get in there for before the crash. That house would have probably ran about 600,000.
Mm.
We were able to get into that house for about 425. So
Ooh.
so it needed updating, but it was on a point 0.6 acre lot. Um, the there was a 2-car garage, nice neighborhood, blue ribbon schools. So that's where we wanted to be. So we didn't care about having the update because at that point I had been doing enough stuff that I was becoming better. Like I was good at painting, good at
Okay.
drywalling. Wasn't doing a lot of electrical or a lot of plumbing at that point, but I was able to make the house look nice. So it worked out.
Awesome. 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 All right. So let's walk down this story. So we're 2007 bought the first rental property, right?
Yes.
2008 bought the second rental property.
Yes.
2009 we purchased a home for the family, right?
Yes.
And at this point in time, your skills of drywalling and doing a little carpentry work is starting to
Take shape.
build, right? Take shape. That's a better word. Take shape. All right. So when did you buy, some more property? What was the mindset? Like, why you just didn't say, hey, I got two properties here. I'm pretty sure they were cash flowing well because I know how, you do when you go look for your properties. So why you just didn't stop? What made you say, hey, let me buy some more?
Let's see. In 2017, my wife and I were sitting around because she works too.
Mhm.
Like I have a full-time job, she has a full-time job. We were sitting around and we were talking about there's so much money out there in real estate. We would be dumb to just sit here with 2 rental properties and not go out there and try to flip or do lease to owns or get more rentals. So when we met in 2017, that's
Mhm.
when I bought the house on Presidential and
Yes.
had a young lady who wanted to do a lease to own. Now, point of fact, if you're going to do a lease to own with somebody, you can let them pick out like what style finishes they want and all this, and you give them a budget or however you want to do it. But when you're working on the house, do not let them think that they have access to the house. Because I realized at a certain point when the guys were working that she was showing up and trying to do walkthroughs with her mother.
Wow.
But we have no lease signed, we have nothing.
Yeah.
So she had no rights to be going through the property.
Mm.
So I got a text message from her saying, they're drinking beer in the house. I'm sorry, if at the end of their day they finish working and they have a beer, it's not your house.
Right. Right.
So 2017, we got that property. Um, and then of course in 2020, uh, she, well, that is another story, but I'll give it to you anyway. In 2020, she comes to me and says, "Oh, I know we agreed on 3 years, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to make uh, to buy the house in 3 years." So now, because this was our first time doing a lease to own, we decided, hey, we're going to give you a reduction in rent to help
Mhm.
you to be able to afford this house. So
Wow.
we had, so for that 3 year period, she paid $1,000 a month
Oh,
for
wow.
yes, for a
Wow.
4-bedroom, 1-bath house that had been completely renovated.
Yes, completely. I saw it. Yes.
Now, granted, um, truth be told, we bought those houses for like 40 grand.
Oh yeah, it
So,
doesn't matter. That doesn't
right,
matter.
right. But the rent roll in that area was what, 12 to 1400.
Yes, easy, easy.
Yeah.
And
So,
and yours would have been more the 1400 side.
right.
Mhm.
So I explained to her that if she didn't want to buy the house, that was perfectly fine. Just vacate the property so that I can go in and clean it up and sell it.
Right,
Because
right.
the price we had agreed on, I didn't realize that there was going to be another housing boom where that house would be worth, instead of um, 80,000, that house was going to be worth 120,000. Now,
Hmm.
granted, the buyout was, I think the buyout for her was 100,000.
Okay.
So I could have made 20,000 more selling it to somebody else. So when she
Mm,
realized that, because I think when the appraisal came through, it appraised at like 140.
gotcha.
So so in 2017 there was that house. Now, before we sold the house to her on the lease to own, we decided, hey, why don't we try to flip a house? So in 2019, we had purchased another house off of I think that, it was a HUD owned property. Now, again, I tell you, make sure you get a home inspection, because I thought in 2019, oh, I know everything. I don't know Jack.
Right.
I go with my realtor, we look at the house, point out some things to the realtor. She's like, oh no, that stuff should be fine. Now, I don't use that realtor anymore because there were things that, like, I didn't realize that the buckle in the main pilaster in the basement meant that the main pilaster had snapped. Yes.
Sheesh.
So we did all this work on the house, um, and I had the people that were going to buy the house. Um, they they had a home inspection done. Home inspector said, no, your main pilaster's snapped. Um, Plus your French drain system needs to be replaced. So I had to call a guy. $40,000 later, because
Whoa.
yes, they had to carbon strap the walls to secure the pilaster, and then the new flooring system. I mean, the new French drain system had to be installed. So that was there went my profit. So I broke even on that property, which is better than being in the hole. So
All
I
day. Right.
yes. So I'd much rather break even and just take it as a learning experience.
All right, Dave, let's unpack a little bit there because I think you said a lot where the listeners really can get some value. And at this time when you purchased this house, this is around 2019, you purchased a few properties already. You have become much more handy, with what you are doing. You also did some upgrades in your own personal home. So at 2019, you want to decide to flip. And did I hear you correctly? You said one of the biggest mistakes you made was not getting a home inspection?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Wow. So listeners out there, we know that a home inspection costs some money, right? But the home inspection is 100% necessary because a few things could have happened here. One, you know, some of these things would have been brought to your attention, like, the French drain, and you could have negotiated that in with the buyer. I'm sorry, with the seller,
Right.
beforehand. You would have just said, hey, this is going to take me to fix these couple items. It's going to take me, 30 to 40,000. So they just would have to knock 30 to $40,000 off of the price because regardless of who they sell the property to, it would have been the same thing, right? So for the listeners, we just want to make sure that they totally understand how important it is to spend how much the inspection costs these days. $600. or something like
Yeah,
that. I mean,
$600 would have saved you $40,000.
$600. Listen to that. $600 could have saved $40,000. All right. So, all right, now, so Dave, you got some experience here, man. You got some experience with some tenants right off the bat. You got some experience with, some with your plumbing hat on, right? Early on in the game, you got some experience. Obviously, just doing some. It's different when you're fixing your own home, right? You're fixing your own home. And then now you got some experience dealing with lease to own, right? And the do's and the don'ts there. And you got some experience flipping with some do's and don'ts there. All right. So we're at 2019. we're,
All right.
come on. Let's continue to walk down this lane here.
All right. So in let's see, it was the beginning of 2020.
Mhm.
We bought another house to flip. It went like butter. Like it was like a hot knife cutting through butter. I had a home inspection, of course.
A different realtor.
Yeah, different realtor. Um, the actually, I had fired the previous realtor with that house with the snap pilaster. So the 2019 house, when we went to sell it, homegirl walks in with her own personal camera to take the pictures for the listing.
Hmm.
So we had dealt with her. She was the one who sold us the houses back in 2007, 2008.
Okay.
The 2017 house. So we're thinking, but she had never actually helped us to sell a house. She'd only helped us find houses to buy.
Mm.
So even with the girl who did the lease to own, she was a previous tenant who came to us and asked us.
Okay.
So when we went to sell the house in 2019, the realtor's like telling us, "Oh, you need to fix this, you need to fix that." Now we're trying to break even at this point after
Right.
after we find out that about the main pilaster.
Hmm.
So we do all the stuff that she says. She she put the house was on the market for a month. That is a
Mm.
stale listing.
Mm.
So we decide that we're gonna terminate her. We
Okay.
look around, we find a guy in South Jersey. He comes in with a portfolio showing all the houses that he sold. This dude sold the house in 2 days for
Wow.
$5,000 above asking price. Even though we still broke even, it's still 5,000 above ask. So
Wow.
in so then when we bought this house at the beginning of 2020, he was the one who helped us find the house. It was an estate sale, and then he was the one who helped us sell the house. He got us um, 30,000 above ask when we went to Sell the house. So needless to
Wow.
say, that house we made 70 grand on it when we sold the
Mm.
house, the 2020 house.
Right.
So
Okay. Okay. Let's
just you
unpack
got to
some
do your
things here,
homework.
Dave. Dave, listen, this is the reason why we wanted to bring Dave on because, Dave, I hate to say, he experienced all of the bad so he can sit here and give it to everybody else. So you don't have to experience it. One of the major things here is that people don't realize, and Dave, you agree, I'm sure you will, that the realtor works for you. And if the realtor is not doing what they need to do, I'm letting you know now, and Dave is testimonial for this, is that it's okay to let them go. It's all right to sit there and say, I thank you for what you have done thus far, but this is the end of the line, right? Listen, the property was sitting on the market for 30 days, no action at all. Okay. I fired her, hired someone else who knew what they were doing, and they sold the property 2 days after they relisted it, and and got 5K over the asking price. And then turn around, get you another property where they sold that for 30K over the asking price. That's the difference of making a decision on one, working with the right people, and then two, having the guts to sit there and say, hey, we're not going to go any further here. I'm going to bring in someone new that knows what they're doing. Woo, Dave, man, you have one heck of a real estate ride, man. All right, so we're about 2020. Where is the property management company coming in at?
All right. So in 2017, I felt that I had enough knowledge that I could start up a property management company, at least to give myself a shell to put these rentals under, because the rentals were under my wife and my taxes. So we weren't like filing business taxes. So it's a great thing to open up a business because it gives you the ability to reduce your income with all the write-offs. Like pretty much tools, upkeep of the houses, everything, because it's the line is a little blurry when you're just a personal, like a an individual filing your taxes and saying, okay, yeah, I have these rental properties, because then the government's looking and they're saying, well, your income is increased. So whereas the accountant was great saying, hey, buy these properties to reduce your income, when you get tenants in there, yeah, you've got the write off from, we had the write off from the two houses, but we also had the income from those people paying us rent. So I'm sure that he was just waiting to drop the hammer again and say, hey, you guys are making too much money. Why don't you go buy something else?
Mm.
So I started up the property management. I was managing my own properties, and then people started seeing the work that I had done, and they started trying to hire me to do work at their houses and fix their rentals and stuff like that. So, whereas it's not a traditional property management company where I have all these clients, it's mostly like a contracting slash property management company where I'm managing my own properties and people are hiring me as a contractor to come and fix things.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I've
Okay.
I've built a pretty good product because I've got people. I've got a girl that's calling me to do a bathroom for her.
Wow.
Um, I just completely renovated one of my rentals in a first floor of a three-family house in New York. I just completely gutted the kitchen and the bathroom and redid everything.
Nice. 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 And so, just for clarity purposes, you're saying opening up that property management company allowed you to be able to reduce your taxes a little more
Yes,
due to it
yes,
being much more of a business now versus just kind of running it through your personal financing.
correct.
Wow, that's very interesting. The things that you don't know, and this once again, it came from someone that you hired, which you trust, which is your CPA.
Yes,
Okay, okay, all right. So to unpack that for the listeners, he surrounds himself around the right people, right? With ensuring that he's getting the proper guidance from a tax perspective. Two, just being creative, right? With sitting here saying, hey, let me open up a business because that's going to help reduce the taxes on top of that. you know I'm pretty sure you didn't see all these contacts coming in with people saying, "Hey, can you do my kitchen? Can you do my bathroom? Can you do that?" And what was that, like the power of social media or something? Like, did you leverage social media for that?
it
Not
was.
purposely, but
Yeah, I mean, I created a website, and the website was just for me, but it ended up being that people were seeing the website, people were seeing my Facebook posts, and They were like, wow, you do some really good work. Why don't you, I need this done. I need laminate floors put down. I need tile done. I'd like to get my bathroom done. And I was like, sure, why not?
Right.
I'll, I'll give it a shot.
Right. Now, Dave, are you doing the work, or do you outsource the work? Like, what do you do?
So the majority of the work I do. Now, I
Okay.
do have day laborers that help me out sometimes with like tiling and painting,
Hmm.
but that's mostly for if I'm going to do work on my own properties.
Okay.
If I'm getting hired by somebody, then it's me and my three boys.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
So
All right.
yeah, so I've taught my sons. My oldest son is 20, and my twins are 18 now. So
Okay.
and all those houses that we've had, other than the first two, like all the flips and stuff that we've done, they've been there, uh, elbow deep in thin
Nice.
set and mortar,
Nice.
helping lay floors, helping grout, helping
Nice.
tile.
Nice.
Now, now, don't get me wrong. You still have to keep your eye on your kids when they're tiling, because even with the house the 2020 house, I had them in the basement helping me, and when I looked, there was thin set all over the tile that hadn't
Mm.
been wiped off as they were moving from
Ooh.
section to section. You
Yeah.
can't walk on that to fix it, so you've got to get acid and not Brillo, but the green scrubbing pads to get
Yes.
that stuff off of the tile.
Yeah. Not fun.
So, and then also, I know that there will be some wives that listen to this, but don't let your wife mix the thin set. Because sometimes wives, like my wife is a lot smarter than me, but she didn't follow those directions for that thin set.
Yeah.
And instead of looking like peanut butter, it looked like milk.
Uh-oh. So Dave, so how cool is this, man? So it all stemmed from your accountant telling you that you need to reduce taxes. So obviously buying real estate is one of them. And when you fast forward the story, it turned into a family business now? Is that what I'm
Yes,
basically hearing? Wow.
yes, yes.
Wow.
I mean, the kids, it's a side hustle for me and the wife because she has a full-time job. The
Hmm.
kids, it'll be their side hustle because
Hmm.
they're they fully expect to continue on. Maybe they won't
Nice.
even do the work. Maybe they'll just hire people, but it's
Hmm.
a family business that they get to continue and
Wow.
reap the benefits from.
So, Dave, how does that make you feel? That because I know a lot of people, um, that's what they want. When people sitting here growing something, and they say, "Man, I want my wife to be a part of this, or my husband. I want my kids to be a part of this," and it just seems like that's what you have. Like, is there any special sauce there that you did that you can sit there and maybe provide to the listeners that are sitting here envious right now on what you have going on?
It just be there for your kids. Like uh, when my kids, I was never one to push my kids to do anything that they didn't want to do. So whether it was Cub Scouts, they were members of Cub Scouts, and then once they got tired of it and they said they didn't want to do it anymore, I didn't give them a hard time. Sometimes they don't feel like going with me when I'm doing a job. Then I give them that option. But then when they realize how much money they're getting paid to sit
Mm,
there, and sometimes they're just the gopher or
mhm,
the tool guy handing me the tools,
mhm.
and you're paying a teenager. I think depending on the job, going rate for my kids is like 150 to 250 a day.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's how you get them.
Good money,
It,
right.
yeah, yeah, and then it's family time together
Mm,
because I mean when we're cutting grass and maintaining the properties, they're fully on board. They
Mm,
know that we go, we get it done, and then we leave.
nice,
So it's
nice,
just for me, it was just showing my children love and that they're appreciated.
nice, nice, nice. Dave, I can go on and on and on and talk to you, brother. You already know that. So I have a question for you. What does find your freedom mean to you?
Freedom from creditors, no credit card bills, finding a passive income that will help you to attain that next level.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. That's great. Dave, the family business part, everybody going to want some more insight on that. I know for sure. Obviously, you always, every time I hear your story or when I think about me personally going through something, I think of you sometimes like, man, Dave experienced the worst of the worst coming out the gate and he's still going. And so I appreciate you, brother, just to let you know that. And I'm pretty sure the audience going to appreciate the story. So if they want to get in contact with you or maybe even hire you, do some work for them, I guess you have any contact information you could provide?
Yeah, they can check out my website, the work that I've done. The website is comerandsonsproperties.com. And then my email address is the same thing, Comer, ComerandSonsproperties @gmail.com.
Awesome. 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 All right, cool. So with that being said, man, to end this show here, we do this thing called boom session, right? So what we're gonna do is the objective here is to bust out some speakers and to hopefully not really, but to to kill some eardrums here. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna count to three, and in a uniform manner, after I say three, both of us is gonna say boom as loud as we can. You down with that?
Okay, I'm
All
down.
right, let's do it. All right. All right. One, two, three.
Boom!
Boom! Awesome, 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 awesome. Check this out, man. We just had a fantastic episode with a close friend of mine, Dave, and his story is just so motivating and inspirational. So check it out, listen to him, and also the work that he do is phenomenal. So when you go to that website that he provided, you're going to quickly send him some emails on hiring him to do jobs and also, man, pick his brain just about the family business. That's what every last one of us want at the end of the day is to be able to build something from the ground up and allow our family to have their hands all the way in it. Now, with that being said, we have a freedom kit for you. So it's easily downloadable, something to change your life. Just go to www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. Once again, www.findyourfreedom.com/freedom kit. Go there, download it. It's great. Now, one thing we're going to need is you to take a listen to our episode, all right, and leave a honest 5-star review. This is the way that we continue on and on and on to give you more and more and more value, just like we are doing today. So subscribe, make sure you share this episode and the podcast with all your friends, share it with all your coworkers, the ones you like, the ones you don't like, share it with them as well. Hey, take the link and just share it with everyone that's in your contact. Until the next episode of Find Your Freedom, we talk to you soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Find Your Freedom. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. While you're at it, please help us spread the word by leaving a rating and review and sharing the podcast with friends, family, and colleagues. Until next time, get out there and find your freedom.